Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa Psych Investigator. Let's do the protection. I like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head. As I breathe in, I fill my lungs. As I breathe out, I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I step into it, I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and only the good, and so it is. So, so today it's interesting. I prepared this video hours ago. Prepared for it, meaning I did the cards, I did the news, right? Selected the news, asked the questions, but only now I'm recording. It was kind of like interesting, take a break, do this, do that. And now I am ready for it. So this video is going to be about the mayoral election in New York. And also, I'm going to look quickly into the New Jersey governor and the impact of the local elections that are happening all over the country, the impact on Trump also. So let's get started. So let me just go grab the news. So this is really funny because when I did the question earlier today, I think it was around lunchtime. Right now it's about 6 p.m., 6:15 p.m. Eastern time. But anyway, so when I asked the question, there hadn't been all these updates, and now Trump Trump has endorsed Cuomo, which is ridiculous. Like, who, if they're looking for support among Democrats, that's not helpful. So, so this is the story, right? We know this is Cuomo. I know, I'm sure you've all heard of Mamdani, okay? And so it's been, to me, it's been very interesting to watch because for this, the conversation around this election, because I don't know why. Well, maybe I do, but literally all the worst people on Twitter hate Mamdani. All those like freakish, creepy billionaires hate him. And and so that made him more likable. I mean, I'm serious. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not always like very super far left necessarily, no. But in this case, like, and he's I guess self-described, Democrat socialist. And the guys, I'm not New York had, okay, I know I should have done the makeup, but just because I've done the makeup already. I just, sorry I caught the reflection. I need to stop the oil. I get antsy. So anyway, going back to Mamdani here. He's a very likable person, to be honest, and he's the only candidate. I know it sounds crazy, right? Who's actually addressing the regular New Yorkers, okay, this election. So it's really interesting, okay. Obviously, not obviously, I'm not Muslim, right? But this is what they made the whole election about, the opponents, right? They're like, oh, he's Muslim, he's like this, he's like that. I don't have I don't, it doesn't bother me at all. Okay. And the thing that I find most endearing about him is that he looks like a New Yorker to me. He looks like a person who could be in the subway. It's like a regular guy to me. Okay. He's a New York. It's like he's a New Yorker, a real New Yorker. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel about him. And he's a very, very charismatic person. And he does great. If you ever watch him on debates, he does a really good job. So I think it's cool. I think that I don't, I think he's gonna win for sure. He's very popular. But then, I'm sorry, but the Democrats here we had what's his name? Oh my God, had Adams, had all the massive corruption scandal. And then, I used to like Andrew Cuomo, to be honest. But then the whole thing, like once he fell, and I remember even thinking that at the time, the whole scandal, some of them were not, I didn't quite believe all of it, honestly, the scandals of the women and assaults, all of it. But it's like he clearly, once he started sort of like using Trump talking points, and no way ever I will ever support anybody who is like that. Not right now. We don't need that. And we don't need somebody who's going to roll over to the orange menace. So, so in a way, in that sense, Mamdani is the only person. And it, it's like that's it. And I know people here, a lot of people like him. Really, it's the bottom line. And if the whole thing of like to try to, and this is the thing, I feel like if you don't live in New York, you don't see, like maybe they don't see people like him. I don't know what, but the idea that they like, it's backfiring because people like Bill Ackman, who was all these like the worst type of Elon Musk, all these people, they're not likable. And it's like nobody, if it, this is it's like they forget that, or they don't seem to want to know that if you're going to be supporting if you're going to be attacking anybody, I'm going to like the person that you attack. I may like them even more because I think in some ways my degree of disliking them is even stronger than how much I like particularly care for any candidate. Okay. So, I think the city is I think people are excited about him. And by the way, I'm not anti-police. I'm not one of those people who say defund the police or something. And I think probably a lot of more far left people are. Okay. So, and we've had, well, very left mayors before, like de Blasio. It tends to not work because the police unions and all that, they're going to do something about it. Usually they do something. But I still like him. I think he has the good values and he's taught, and it's like I've been reading all these interesting articles, even like the Wall Street Journal, that there's like even the Wall Street Journal discusses the wealth disparity and talks about how there's all these ultra expensive restaurants in New York and they are thriving. And there have never been as many millionaires as there are now in New York. Millionaires, not billionaires, right? Or very wealthy people. Nowadays, millionaires is not that huge, but what I'm talking about? People that are truly wealthy, let's just say, and well-to-do and so forth. So, but I mean, I guess nowadays, no, it's not well-to-do is not the word, but I should have remembered the article. He said something like, I think they focused on people who made more than 300,000, and there's a lot, like 30% of the population here, or something like that. Makes up. I don't remember exactly, but this is a time of the great disparity of income, and even they made fun of the fact that the people that spend their time in the Hamptons, they never take the subway or anything. They're getting upset because Mamdani wants to make buses free. And here in the city, a lot of elderly people take buses. Not a lot of people, not a ton of people take buses. So it's like it's just it's really like it's so weird to me, honestly, how much they're focused on this. But we'll look into it. Now, the cards were clear to me that Mamdani is going to win. But let me see. Let's see what's going to happen. And then I didn't ask the cards, but I want to know what is going to happen to these people. Like, what are they going to do? Okay, so what is going on with Mamdani? That's right. I see him winning. Yeah, everybody's celebrating. But then the police, I guess, doing some sort of strike, something. But you know what's interesting? I see that then there's something happening. I really do think, guys, it shows me that there could be some kind of, it's like a Wall Street thing with the stock market, like the bubble popping. He's going to do something that they're going to turn around and actually like him. The ones that attacked him so much and did all this. I don't, so is it, I think he's going to do some, I see actually he's going to be criticized, but it always happens, right? People that are far left, like, oh, he didn't do this and this and that. So they want everything. And if it doesn't accomplish exactly what he wanted, then he's gonna be attacked as being like a turncoat or whatever. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine. And I don't think, again, in practice it's not gonna be as far left as people seem to think he is, because I see he's gonna want people to go to prison. Here we have a lot of like, the CVS, like everything is under, the plastic like doors because there's so much theft. And people never go to prison for that. So, or they go the next day or something, they leave. So So it's really, that is actually, he may not be against, like he is actually not too liberal in some of the things. It will turn out. Okay, that's what I saw. Now, yeah, and I see that Cuomo is gonna be like, uh. And like really, Trump, did you have to go there really, Trump? Like, wow, I'm gonna run to vote for Cuomo because he loved Trump endorsed him. Like, there couldn't be a worse endorsement for somebody. Okay. So anyway, so also, oh, the other thing I see that if what Trump is going to do is going to be like, great, now we're going to go after New York and say that New York is, city of terrorists or whatever. But I see the population rising up against any ICE because I think he may try to send more ICE people. But I see that we're going to be like so united. It's actually exciting, to be honest. And even those billionaire people are going to be like, oh, that's like maybe it was a bit much. Like, right? Like, so. So tell me what is going to happen. That's right. I almost also had the concern. Let me ask here, is there a way that Elon Musk could somehow try to rig the election here? And I see he tries, but I don't see that he's focused right now on this. There's not enough time or focus to do this. Okay, so all right, so this is that. So yeah, so I feel like yes. I feel like and I see that the talking is gonna kind of stop once he wins. Also, because it's telling me those people, the Bill Ackmans of the world, are realizing how much bad publicity their support has. Like people don't like them, period. So, wow, wow, interesting. So, yeah, and it's interesting. It shows me that New York will be a center of like resistance against this administration. So that's good. That's good. It's good to be here in that sense. Okay. All right. So now let me do the cards. Let me show the cards because I know I'm going to go to the next election. But so here is on the left, main male is I assigned to Mamdani and the mature man and Cuomo. Okay. And so right away, Mamdani to me feels like the winner. There's only one. I mean, I think when you look at cards like this, the first, if it's like one versus the other, you want to see if there's any negative cards. And then if there's cards that suggest something very positive. Mandani here on the left, he has the, like he has the card of the Spirit. It's not necessarily, it's like a more of a mood card, right? Than something like, it could be a lot of this deck actually made it into something like despair, but another one, the German one makes it. It could be sorrow. It could be, it doesn't make sense. So it's sort of more emotional. And here, when you look to the right, Andrew Cuomo has bad health. He has the mice. Okay, and in a way, he doesn't really have particularly good cards either. And he has the Ace of Swords upside down. So upright, that's the card of victory, but um, it I don't feel it just from that quality of the cards alone. Now, Mondani has the card of high honor here at the bottom, which is, let's see, very positive, right? High honor is it's sort of like the highest job card, the highest level of recognition. What I find interesting is that here, um, you have the card of despair and the privileged lady. In the way, the privileged lady actually may mean young people, because this card is traditionally assigned to. It has a different name in other decks, but it's usually assigned to. It's meant to be a young and experienced person. And the card of despair, I think it has to do again with people suffering and struggling to survive. So he recognizes, right? The high honor is also a card of recognition. So he recognizes how hard life is for the average person. And he's also very popular with young people, and actually affluent young people, or like educated young people, right? Then he has here the Ace of Pentacles. That's also a good card for victory. And the bear. Now, the bear means personal finances, also means the boss. It also means strength. So he's strong. And if you contrast here with Cuomo, now interesting that the Cuomo has the mice card. So I wonder if there's some sort of like a shady attempt behind the scenes to try to how'd you say it? Like uh hack something, but I don't feel like it is. And again, distant horizons, it feels like, I don't know, it just, he's detached from reality in a way, right? Which I think he is out of touch with the average New Yorker. And bad health means he's gonna have to take a pause, right? So he's just I think he's far away. And he was a governor in Albany, which is really quite far from New York. And here, this is a card. This is a job for a New Yorker, right? That's the whole point. So, so this is it. Now let's go to the next election, which is New Jersey. Now here we have New Jersey governor election 2025 latest polls. So it's not that I was just looking up news and it just happened to come up like this, and basically all the polls show the Democrat ahead. Here in most polls, Miki Sherrill, I don't know how you say her name, leads Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican candidate. Okay, so let's look. Let's look here. So tell me about elections. Both of them. Yeah, I see that she's very steady and it's been kind of tough, but I see that the Republican guy is putting his feet in front of her, trying to kind of like make her fall or cheat a little. And we, as we know, that happens to them a lot. But still, I feel like the time has changed. I don't see that he's gonna win. I know I don't feel like he will, although it's pretty close. I just feel like the momentum is on her side. And so, okay, so that's what I feel. I mean, I always nowadays, right? I always so let me ask again, is Elon Musk or somebody else could they try to hack the results? I think they could make some areas, they could make it harder to vote. But I feel like it's very small. It's not enough to make a difference. And there's a lot of turnout, okay, for that because of what's going on. So that was quick. That was quick. Oh, let me show you the cards. And then I also asked, okay, hold on a second. Let me open it first. I also asked about, and we're going to look at that in a little bit. Um, okay. Okay, so this is on top of, so I picked the card first, right, to signify her and then him. And again, like I said before, the first measure is how many positive cards versus negative cards, right? She has, I think, all these two, or she has all positive or neutral cards. He has three negative cards. So that alone, it shows that she's ahead. So let's just go into her. She has a heart, happiness, right, or good values. The Four of Cups here, it's the card of receiving an offer. So could be a job offer, something comes out. When this card is one of the few where the reversed is better, actually. So that's when it's upright, that's when a person receives an offer and they're apathetic about it. But when it's like this, they're happy. Now here is Gedanken means ideas. So the values resonate with the voters, basically, right? So that's her case, and she receives an offer, so that's something she will likely accept. So this is it. Now, when it comes to him, we have the clouds, right? So people are in doubt about her. I'm not sure. We have the disappointments. This is a Five of Cups. Even if it's upside down, it still means disappointments. And you have the falsche Person, right? False person, which means that he's not trustworthy, right? That people have doubts about his character. They have to deal with some disappointments, like he's disappointing in some way, even to his base. and that he ultimately comes off as inauthentic. Okay. So that's interesting. Now, let me go to um, so I also did this. Um, I asked, I asked like, let's just try something different because sometimes I get nervous. I realize about like, oh my God, what's happening? Do I want one person versus another? So what I did is I just put all the cards like they're, face down. But I also selected another row, which is who is going to win. I tend to not like this question because I think it's too open-ended for something so specific. But I thought that would give me more information, right? On top of whatever comes out for one or the other, it would inform me and give more information, right? Okay, so let me share that because I thought it was quite interesting. So we have here journey. Now, journey means departure, arrival, cars, or movement. And we have a card of woman card here. So right away, we know that it's a man versus a woman. So she is like right away, you could just see she'd like to do it. And then we have the letter. Letter could be votes. What I find interesting here is that we have Queen of Pentacles upside down. Now, Queen of Pentacles, definitely women. I feel like, and then I'm like, oh, does it mean there's going to be some sort of like a voting issue? No, I feel like it's because women are dissatisfied with the way things are going, especially economically, right? Because, and I see, oh, it's interesting. It's telling me, even though I was asking, it's telling me that women are suffering the brunt of all the job losses, right? And women care about economic stability a lot. So, so women are the ones that are pushing the direction of this race. And so just a confirmation, okay, that she's like to do it. Now, I also asked some interesting questions here. First, about the meaning and the outcome of the election. Let's say this one. Let me share. I thought it was it's interesting, guys. I don't know. My mind, you could see it never end, like it never, never stops. So I always have questions. It's funny. So, so this is like on top. What is the meaning of it? And then the second is, what was it? I wasn't meaning outcome. That's right. So, so first we have here, we have imprisonment, right? So people feeling stuck. Rotterdam again. And by the way, this is not just about New Jersey, it's about all elections, right? We know that there's local elections in the US. So we have here women, right? Rotterdam, women above the age of 40. And what's interesting here, we have the cross. Now, the cross usually is a very negative card, I think. It's a card of burdens, hardship, difficulties. It's also, interestingly enough, of course, the card of religion, like Christian, Christian, right? And here's the Queen of Pentacles again, because of course, I reshuffled, and we have her upright. So I think women feel imprisoned by the heavy environment of the Christian right is trying to push upon us. I mean, they're not trying; they are pushing on us, right? And so that women make the effort to vote. And this is an election result very much influenced by women. And then the outcome here, we have courthouse, right? This is also, if you think of what is a courthouse, is a trial technically, right? Trial in the kind of a metaphorical sense of the word. Hermit, something hidden going inwards. Older man, right? I think this could even be construed as Trump. In prison, it's interesting because this card, it means prison, but it also means institutions or buildings. But I think, isn't that interesting how, okay, let me go back. Here, these two cards are connected, right? And it is actually, you know what? It is 29, 29. That's right. It's the same, right? It's the same number. So I think the fact that Trump is not in prison is a big deal, right? It's also a metaphor for how we feel about all of this. And and so that's right, that we want to, well, it's saying like I got something interesting as I'm telling you this. It's saying, how a lot of these men are involved in a lot of criminal activities, some of them violence against women openly, and that the guilt that they have, they want to push it onto us to make us be the ones that were guilty just because we are women. So we feel it and we are definitely rejecting it. So that's great. Now, the last question I asked here, and it's interesting, right? Is how will Trump see the results of the election? How it's going to impact him? But the question really was about how he feels. Like, how does he feel about it? So, so that's interesting. But let me actually ask this question before I show the card. So, how will Trump see the results? I see that he's like biting on some sort of cloth. He's so angry, and I see that he's very anxious, and he's bumping into things. Because he knows that that the elections are how do you say it? A sign. Essentially, the he's harvesting what he has planted. Okay, and it's not good for him. Okay, so let's see now. Let's see here how Trump will see. Now we have again here. Let's see. Mhm. We have the woman. This is the first row. The woman now, the two of wands upside down. That's unplanned for change. And this is the judge. So the women made the judgment and he was not prepared for it. He was not planned for it. And things have changed. And it's the women who are making this judgment, who are making this choice. Then we have here the official person. Now, in the other, this is technically the military person in the other, like the German um, card system. And it doesn't mean that it's military necessarily, but it means it's an official. So women have made an official choice. And look at what's interesting here. We have, uh, oh no, that's not the one. That's right. We have here, this is seven of wands upside down. So exposing the treachery. This is 19, the Tower of the Norman government institution, and theft. So women want to elect officials who are willing to expose the treachery in the government. And it's interesting because we have, of course, this issue with the Epstein files. So he is very, mm, okay, right? He is very affected by it somehow. Let's see if I can. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then we have here the last row. Unexpected income. Now, it doesn't have to be money. It could be a surprise. So something unexpected, a victory. And then we have a coffin. Now, victory is the end of what? The end of his term, the end of his. It's as if he knows that this is the end of his career because it's just not popular enough. And then it's also the end of happiness, right? It's here, the end of victory and the end of this big luck, the run of luck that he had. And again, if we look at it as as columns. Usually columns denote a sort of like a time, one here. The woman selects the officials, and it's surprising to Trump. Unplanned exposure of treachery that led to victory. Change in the government that leads to an end for him, because this is about how he feels about the situation. Judge, theft, luck. So judges or somebody or people judging him for his corruption changes the luck. Okay. Or it's good or judging him for treachery creates good luck for whichever the candidate who picked it. So okay, so that was interesting. Very interesting. So that was that. So that we should have good, at least for these, I believe, likely good outcomes. Okay. So, all right. So thank you for watching. Okay, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.